Hi friends, today is the last video regarding mathematical expectation. We have already posted 4 to 5 videos, I suppose, on my YouTube channel. Hope you are going through the channel for the video lectures that I have delivered and working out the corresponding problems as well as the derivations concerned. Please work out the problems and the derivations as many number of times as possible so that you can get a feel and hold over it. This subject is such that you need to practice the derivations, problems, and understand the concepts as many times as possible. ಎಷ್ಟು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸರಿ ನೀವು ಓದ್ತಿರೋ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸರಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸು ಡೆರಿವೇಷನ್ಸ್ನ ನೀವು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟು ತುಂಬ ವಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸೊ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಬೇಕಿದ್ರು ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಇಂಥದ್ದೇ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಕೆಲವು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಆ ವೈಖರಿ ಮೇಲೆನೆ ಆ ವೈಖರಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಮ್ಯಾನರಿಸಮ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲೇಟ್ ಆಗುವಂತಹ ಸಕಲ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಇರುತ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಶಾಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ಅದರ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್. This problem is very, very important. Problem number 1.5.7 or example 1.5.7. Please mark it as important. Because it is related to our electronics application. So he tells that a sinusoid generator output voltage is A cos omega t. This output is sampled randomly. The sampled output is a random variable capital X, which can take on any value in the range minus A comma A. Find the mean and variance of the sampled output X. Read the problem statement once or twice. So again, so he tells that the output of a sinusoidal generator is A cos omega t. A sinusoidal generator means what? It can be a function generator or a signal generator. So a sinusoidal generator output voltage is A cos omega t. So this output is sampled randomly. So the output corresponds to a random variable capital X, which can take any value between the range minus A comma A. So I have to find the mean and variance of the sampled output capital X. So this is a continuous random variable X. You may ask, sir, how? A sinusoidal generator output. A sinusoidal generator output produces a sine or a cosine wave, which is continuous in nature, isn't it? ನೀವು ಈ ಅನಲಾಗ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬಲ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಲ್ವಾ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್, ಅದು ಯಾವ ಡೊಮೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತದೋ CR1 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ನೋಡೋದು, ಇಟ್ ವುಡ್ ಬಿ ಅನಲಾಗ್, ಇಟ್ ವುಡ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಟೈಮ್, ಇಟ್ ವುಡ್ ಬಿ ಅನಲಾಗ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್. ಅನಲಾಗ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ದ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಸೈನುಸೈಡಲ್ ಜನರೇಟರ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್. So continuous waveform, so continuous time signal, so it is a continuous random variable. So here capital X is a CRV, continuous random variable, which can take any value between minus A comma A. Now the output voltage is given by A cos of omega t. Now since the output is sampled at any random time t, usually I apply sampling in the time domain. So this time axis t is the independent variable. T is the independent variable. I am going to sample at a random instant t. That is, the output is going to be sampled at a random instant t. So capital X, that is the random variable capital X, is a function of the random variable t. So since I am sampling at randomly at t, right? Since I am he has mentioned the statement, the output is sampled randomly. So the output is randomly means, so the output of that would be the random variable capital X. But X is being dependent upon the time because I am sampling at time. So since capital X is random and sampling is being done at done randomly, so that's why that time instant t is also taken to be a random variable. This is a very, very important observation, right? Here I am sampling at time t. The output is a continuous random variable. The output is sampled randomly. This is the statement mentioned in the problem. So since the output is sampled randomly, so that's why capital X is a random variable which is dependent upon the random sampling variable t. So t is also a random variable. Similarly, capital X is also a random variable, but we are concentrating our interval entirely on capital X. So that's why I can write X of t. The output is, the sampled output is a random variable capital X. whose output voltage is A cos of omega t. So that's why I can write x of t is equal to A cos omega t. I write x of t is equal to A cos of omega t. For simplicity purpose, I denote omega t by theta. So this is equal to A cos of theta. For simplicity purpose, for integration purpose, I write it as theta. So theta is equal to omega t. So that's why I get x of t is equal to A cos omega t is equal to A cos theta. Now, let me call x to be equal to g of theta. Very, very important. Let me call x is equal to g of theta, which is a function of a random variable. So when theta is equal to omega t, where theta is equal to omega t is the random variable, and since I have got a cosine wave, sine and cosine waves always lie in the interval 0 to 2 pi, or in the interval minus pi to pi. So I shall take the interval 0 to 2 pi. Because the period of a sine wave is 2 pi, the period of a cosine wave is also 2 pi. So that's why I am assuming x is equal to g of theta, which is a function of a random variable, and this lies in the interval r range 0, 2 pi, because sine and cosine waves always lie in the range 0, 2 pi. Now, I am also assuming that all the angles between 0 and 2 pi are equally likely. I need to construct a PDF for it, right? So I shall also further assume that all the angles lying between 0 and 2 pi are equally likely, including 0 and 2 pi. So that f theta of theta. So let me define another PDF called f theta of theta has some constant value k for 0 less than or equal to theta less than 2 pi. Let me assume that all the angles between 0 and 2 pi, including 0 and 2 theta, are equally likely, so that f theta of theta has some constant value k for 0 less than or equal to theta less than 2 pi and 0 elsewhere. So between 0 and 2 pi, I am assuming that it is having a constant k. F theta is equal to k. And for theta less than 0 and for theta greater than 2 pi, I am assuming that f theta of theta is equal to 0. Right? Now, since I have assumed that all the angles are equally likely, so that's why this is nothing but a uniform distribution. Equally likely and equally distributed with respect to the entire time interval or the angular interval means it has to be a uniform distribution only. It is likely, it is equally likely, it is equal likely. It is equal likely in the entire range 0 less than theta less than or equal to 2 pi means it has to be a uniform distribution. Since all the angles are equally likely over the interval 0 less than or equal to theta less than or equal to 2 pi, hence by default it would be a uniform distribution. So let us try to verify it. So you may ask, sir, what is the need of defining f theta of theta? If he has told that everything is a random process here, so a random process means I have to write the PDF. Otherwise, without PDF, how can I characterize the behavior of the given output? Output in the sense output voltage A cos of omega t. So that's why it is imperative on our part to first define the PDF, right? So PDF I am defining with respect to what? With respect to the angular measurement, right? Theta is equal to omega t. So with respect to theta only, I am going to write the corresponding PDF. Okay. Now the PDF of this is simply given by f theta of theta is equal to k for 0 less than or equal to theta less than 2 pi and 0 elsewhere. This is the key important point that we need to remember. Now I need to find the value of k. Okay. So here I know that integral minus infinity to plus infinity fx of x dx is equal to 1. So there are two conditions to be satisfied by f theta of theta to be told that it is a valid or a legitimate PDF. One is that f theta of theta should be greater than or equal to 0 and k should be greater than or equal to 0. So if k is greater than or equal to 0, then f theta of theta is greater than or equal to 0. And so that would be the first condition. Second condition is that the area under this f theta of theta would be equal to 1. Area means integral minus infinity to plus infinity. The PDF integrated would be equal to 1. But I have integral minus infinity to plus infinity fx of x dx is equal to 1. That's the standard formula. But here I am writing with respect to, though I am talking about the random variable capital X, I am doing the measurement with respect to theta is equal to omega t. I am doing the measurement with respect to theta is equal to omega t. That's why I told it's a very, very important problem. It's a very tricky problem. Tricky in the sense ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆಟ ಆಡಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು 10 ಸರಿ ಒಂದು 5-10 ಸರಿ ಬರ್ದು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಲ್ಡ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಮೇಲೆ. Though x, capital X is the random variable, but that is equal to a cos of theta, right? So that's why I have to do the measurement with respect to theta. Theta ಇಂದಾನೆ ತಾನೆ ನನಗೆ measurements ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. So that's why I would in order to obtain k, I have to integrate from 0 to 2 pi f theta d theta is equal to 1. ಇದನ್ನು ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ, let me write it. This also I should actually write it as integral minus infinity to plus infinity f theta of theta d theta is equal to 1. But recall that f theta of theta is equal to 0 for theta less than 0 and f theta of theta is equal to 0 for theta less than 2 pi. So it is having a non-zero value only between 0 less than or equal to theta less than 2 pi. And what is that non-zero value? It is equal to k. So that's why this integral limit reduces to this integral minus infinity to plus infinity f theta d theta reduces to integral 0 to 2 pi f theta d theta is equal to 1. ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ ಈಕ್ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ I have to calculate k. If I do not assume that it is a valid PDF, then I cannot find the value of k. I have to, if I have to equate it to 1, then I have to assume that it is a valid PDF. Okay, so that's why this integral reduces to integral 0 to 2 pi f theta d theta is equal to 1, because beyond less than 0 f theta of theta is equal to 0 as per my assumption. Beyond 2 pi f theta of theta is equal to 0. Only for theta lying between 0 and 2 pi f theta of theta is equal to k. Okay, so that's why this integral reduces to integral 0 to 2 pi f theta of theta d theta is equal to 1. See, when you are listening to the videos, you may slow down the speed of the audio and try to listen. Try to reduce the speed of the audio as much as possible, so that as much as you can understand, as much as it is possible, so that you can clearly hear it, and then go for understanding what has been conveyed in the video, so that, and then practice it. That's how you need to do. Now integrate. So substitute k for f theta of f theta of theta. So I get integral 0 to 2 pi k d theta is equal to 1. So integral, so k is a constant, pull it outside. So k into this would be, let me write it. So let me write it here. So k integral 0 to 2 pi d theta is equal to 1, or k theta limits 0 to 2 pi is equal to 1 I get. So I get k into 2 pi minus 0, or 2k pi is equal to 1 I get. K into 2 pi minus 0. 2 pi minus 0 is 2 pi. 2 pi into k is 2k pi, or 2 pi k. So cross multiply is all for k. I get k is equal to 1 by 2 pi. I have shown this integration here. So this is the graph. So this is the graph of that uniform distribution. So okay, I get k is equal to 1 by 2 pi. Okay, so 1 by 2 pi. So it is nothing but a rectangular pulse. Independent variable is theta. dependent variable is f theta of theta. This is f theta of theta. There is a printing mistake here. This is f theta of theta. Okay, please be careful. Now obtain the mean of this. So mean is simply given by mx is equal to integral minus infinity to plus infinity x fx of x dx. But here capital X is g of theta and fx of x is f theta of theta, because we are making measurements with respect to theta, angular measurements with respect to theta. So I get mx is equal to, again, fx of x is having a non-zero amplitude of k is equal to 1 by 2 pi only for theta lying between 0 and 2 pi. So that's why the integral limits minus infinity to plus infinity reduced to integral 0 to 2 pi. So x is given by g of theta and fx of x is f theta of theta d theta. Okay. So again, what is g of theta? As g of theta is nothing but a cos theta. G of theta is nothing but a cos theta, because I have assumed that x is equal to g of theta. Artha aita? I have assumed that x is equal to g of theta. So that's why I get mean mx is equal to integral 0 to 2 pi g of theta into f theta of theta d theta. So g of theta is equal to a cos theta from the previous assumption as I just showed. So I get mean is equal to integral 0 to 2 pi a cos theta into 1 by 2 pi d theta. Okay, this is the value of f theta of theta. This is the value of g of theta. So 1 by 2 pi is a constant, a is a constant. So a by 2 pi can pull it outside. So this would be a integral 0 to 2 pi cos theta. Integral cos theta d theta is sin theta, which we know. So that's why I get a by 2 pi sin theta limits 0 to 2 pi. Substitute the lower and upper limits. So I get a by 2 pi into sin 2 pi minus sin 0. Sin 2 pi is 0, sin 0 is 0. So 0 minus 0 multiplied by a by 2 pi, which is equal to 0. So that's why we infer a very, very important result. Mean or average value of a cosine wave is always 0. Mean or average value of a cosine wave is equal to 0. Next, we obtain the variance. So first, let us find the mean squared value. So x squared bar is equal to e of x squared equal to integral minus infinity to plus infinity x squared fx of x dx, x squared fx of x dx. But x is equal to g of theta here, and x is equal to a cos theta. So fx of x is equal to f theta of theta. This is the same assumption as we have done for calculating the mean. And f theta of theta is equal to 1 by 2 pi for 0 less than theta less than 2 pi. Let me write that properly. The fellow has so f of theta is equal to 1 by 2 pi for 0 less than or equal to theta less than 2 pi. So due to this, e of x squared, whose integral limit is from minus infinity to plus infinity, reduces to integral 0 to 2 pi in the next step, with x squared getting replaced by g squared of theta, because x squared is nothing but g of theta, right? So x is equal to g of theta. So that's why I have x squared getting replaced by g squared of theta. Very, very important observation. Normally students make mistake in such steps. Integration solving is easy, but ಯಾವ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ ನ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ತರ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಡಬೋದು. ನೀವು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ನಾನು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥೈಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಸಿಂಧುವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಚ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಾವು ಅತಿ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಗಮನವನ್ನು ಹರಿಸತಕ್ಕದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಐ ಗೆಟ್ x is equal to g of theta. So that's why x squared, this x square, since x is equal to g of theta, so that's why this x squared gets replaced by g squared of theta. Fx of gets replaced by f theta of theta. X squared gets replaced by g squared of theta. Fx of x gets replaced by f theta of theta. Dx gets replaced by d theta. That's all. Integral 0 to 2 pi. Now substitute integral 0 to 2 pi. G of theta is a cos theta. So g squared of theta is a squared cos squared theta. Okay, let me rub this, otherwise it may. So this becomes a cos theta the whole squared, or a squared cos squared theta, into f theta of theta is 1 by 2 pi. So 1 by 2 pi d theta. So limits integral 0 to 2 pi. Now this can be written as a squared by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi cos squared theta d theta. Cos squared theta can be written as half into 1 plus cos 2 theta. This we know from our second PUC trigonometry. Cos squared theta can be written as half into 1 plus cos 2 theta. Okay, so if I substitute and integrate, so this would be a squared by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi half into 1 plus cos 2 theta d theta. This half, take it outside the integral sign and multiply with the 2 of the denominator here. So I get a squared by 4 pi here. So a squared by 4 pi integral 0 to 2 pi. So then next, integrate separately. So integral 0 to 2 pi 1 d theta plus integral 0 to 2 pi cos 2 theta d theta. A squared by 4 pi integral 0 to 2 pi d theta plus integral 0 to 2 pi cos 2 theta d theta. Now integrate. A squared by 4 pi integral d theta is theta. So theta with limit 0 to 2 pi. Integral cos 2 theta. Integral cos 2 theta is sin 2 theta by 2. Yes, made a mistake here. No textbook is free from errors here. Sin 2 theta entirely divided by sin 2 theta entirely divided by 2. Now substitute the lower and the upper limits. So this becomes a squared by 4 pi. So theta 2 pi minus 0. So theta is getting replaced by 2 pi minus 0 plus sin 2 into 2 pi is sin 4 pi. Entire thing divided by 2 minus sin 0 divided by 2. Now sin 4 pi is 0, 0 by 2 is 0, sin 0 is 0, 0 by 2 is 0. So 0 minus 0, I get 0. 2 pi minus 0 plus 0 minus 0, I get 2 pi only. Now a squared by 4 pi into 2 pi I get. So a squared by 4 pi into 2 pi means 2 pi 1s are 2 pi 2s are simplification happens. So thereby I am left with a squared by 2. I get 2 pi here, 4 pi here. So 2 1s are 2 2s are no. 2 pi 1s are 2 pi 2s is 4 pi. So simplification occurs. So I get a squared by 2. So e of x squared is nothing but a squared by 2. E of x squared is nothing but a squared by 2. I hope integration is clearer to you. So substitute variance is given by sigma x squared is equal to e of x squared minus mx squared. Mx can also be written as mu x. Don't get confused. In theory class in the college I have written mx as well as mu x. Mu x as ಜಾಸ್ತಿ use ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. So mu x ನು ಒಂದೇ mx ನು ಒಂದೇ. Both are same and one and the same, that is the mean. So e of x squared minus mx squared I have. So I get a squared by 2 minus mean is equal to 0. So 0 squared is 0. So a squared by 2 only I get as the variance. Now standard deviation sigma x is simply given by square root of sigma x squared or root of a squared by 2 or a by root 2 or 0.707 a is the standard deviation. Okay, this completes the solution of the problem. We shall go for the next problem. Just a minute, let me have a sip of water. Okay guys, I would like to make a point that the problems that we are discussing and solving today in today's video are very, very important. They can be asked for 8 to 10 marks in the examination. So I request you to please solve these problems as many number of times because they are usually expected questions. These questions are asked in BE exam or also in MTech exams also. So that's why how to analyze is what that plays an important role. So So next problem, a DRV has k equally likely possible values 0a, 2a until k minus 1a. I want to find the mean, second moment and SD, standard deviation. I have a DRV, so X is a DRV. It has got a equally spaced likely points or values 0, a, 2a, 3a, etc. till k minus 1a. So find mean, second moment and the SD, standard deviation. SD means standard deviation. Here, SD is denoted as sigma x. So since k values are equally likely, so that's why the probabilities of the occurrence of each and every values is simply given by 1 by k. Let x1 be equal to 0, let x2 be equal to a, let x3 be equal to 2a. Similarly, xk be equal to k minus 1 into a. This statement is important. Let x1 be equal to 0, x2 be equal to a, x2 be equal to a, x3 be equal to 2a, etc. up till xk be equal to k minus 1 into a. So since k values are equally likely, he has only given the statement. I am telling what has been given in the problem statement. I am made to solve the problem. So since I have got k equally likely possible values with x1 is equal to 0, x2 equal to a, x3 is equal to 2a, etc. up till k is equal to k minus 1 into a. That's why the probabilities of occurrences of all this, that is probability of x1 equal to 0, probability of x2 is equal to a, probability of x3 is equal to 2a, etc. up till probability of xk equal to k minus 1 into a is just simply given by 1 by k. Because you may ask, sir, how do I get p of x1 is equal to 1 by k? So p of x1 is probability of occurrence of x1. What is x1? x1 is equal to 0. So the probability of the occurrence of x1 that is equal to 0 is only one time. ಈ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 0 ಎಷ್ಟು ಸರಿ occur ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ನೀವೇ ಹೇಳಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು 0, a, 2a, 3 ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? a ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್, a is a constant. So 0 occur ಆಗೋದು ಒಂದೇ ಸರಿ. So number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. I am calculating p of x1. P of x1 is equal to number of favorable outcomes by total number of outcomes. Total number of outcomes is k. He has only given k equally likely possible values. So k is the total number of values. Number of favorable values for the occurrence of 0 is only 1. 0 can occur only 1. So 1 by k. That's all. Similarly, a can occur how much? The number of favorable outcomes for the occurrence of a is only 1, divided by total number of outcomes k, 1 by k. 2a ಅನ್ನೋ ಈವೆಂಟು ಎಷ್ಟು ಸರಿ occur ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಅದು ಒಂದೇ ಸರಿ. So 1 by k. That's all. Similarly, k minus 1 into a, which is equal to xk. xk is equal to k minus 1 into a, alva? xk is equal to k minus 1 into a, which I have assumed. That can also happen only one time. So that's why number of favorable outcomes equal to 1 divided by total number of outcomes equal to k. So 1 by k. So all these possible values 0, a, 2a, etc. till k minus 1 into a, which I have assumed to be equal to x1, x2, x3, etc. till xk, are having equally likely probabilities equal to 1 by k. So I hope that this is clearer here. Now calculate the mean. See, this problem is important because I shall be using some basic formulae of arithmetic series, arithmetic progression, which we would have studied in 10th standard or first PUC. So that's what is going to be used here, right? Now, mean of a discrete random variable is simply given by mx or mu x. Mx can be written as mu x also, equal to summation I is equal to 1 to n xi into p of xi. Now expand the summation. So this can be written as x1 p of x1 or x1 px of x1 ಅಂತಾನೂ ಬರೀಬಹುದು. ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಬಹುದು, ಸರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಿ ಆಫ್ x1 ಅಂತಿದೆ, ನೀವು ನೆನ್ನೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಪಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ x1 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಉತ್ತರ, ಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳೇ, p of x1 can be written as px of x1. p of x2 can be written as px of x2. p of x3 can be written as px of x3. Similarly, p of xk can be written as px of xk. These are different notations that are used in practice. Okay, please don't get confused with respect to the notations that are used. With regards to notations, yesterday only I have made the things amply clear. Any doubts, please get back to me. So if I expand the summation and substitute the values, x1 is equal to 0, which this is 0, x1 is 0, x1 is a, x2 is 2a, xk is k minus 1 into a. ಅದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀವಿ ನಾವು, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು, ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. So substitute the value. So this gives me 0 into 1 by k. So x1 into probability of x1. So x1 is 0. P of x1 is 1 by k. So 0 into 1 by k plus x2. x2 is a. x2 is a. Into x2 is equal to a. Please see the cursor. x2 is a into p of x2. P of x2 is 1 by k. So a into 1 by k. x1 is 0. P of x1 is 1 by k. So 0 into 1 by k I have plus x2. x2 is equal to a. So a into p of x2. So that is 1 by k. x3 is 2a. Let me repeat. x2 is equal to a. P of x2 is 1 by k. Next, plus x3 into p of x3. x3 is 2a. P of x3 is 1 by k. x3 is 2a. P of x3 is 1 by k. So that's what I have substituted. Plus etc. till xk is k minus 1 into a. Substituted here. P of xk is 1 by k. So k minus 1 into a by 1 by k. So I get a by k. So first term reduces to 0. Okay. So 0 into 1 by k is 0. So a by k plus 2a by k plus 3a by k plus k minus 1 into a by k I have. Now take a by k as the common factor. So I get a by k into 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus etc. till k minus 1. A by k into 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus etc. till k minus 1. Now this I can write it in sigma notation as a by k into summation n is equal to 1 to k minus 1 n. If I put n is equal to 1, I get 1. If I put n is equal to 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus etc. till k minus 1. The lower and the upper limits are the first value and the ending value of the summation series that we have shown in the previous step. 1 is the first is the lower limit. K minus 1 is the upper limit. Now use the standard result. This is the arithmetic series. This is an arithmetic series. So the sum of n, now first n numbers is equal to n into n plus 1 by 2. No? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus etc. plus n is equal to n into n plus 1 by 2. Now use that same equation. So summation n is equal to 1 to n. N is given by capital N into n plus 1 by 2. So here n is equal to k minus 1 here. Let me show it here. The sum of first n series, the sum of first consecutive n elements is given by summation n is equal to 1 to n. N is equal to capital N into n plus 1 by 2. So here n is equal to k minus 1. So that's why if I substitute, what happens? Now substitute, make use of this formula to evaluate this equation 1.5.2.23 as it is called. So this becomes a by k into k minus 1, n into n plus 1 by 2. So k minus 1 into n plus 1, k minus 1 plus 1 by 2. I get a by k into n into n plus 1 by 2. N is k minus 1. Capital N is k minus 1. So k minus 1 into n plus 1 by 2. So k minus 1 plus 1 by 2. Minus 1 plus 1 gets cancelled. So I am left with a into k minus 1 by 2. K and k gets cancelled. So I am left with a into k minus 1 by 2. So this is the mean. You should remember this formula. Remembering this formula is very, very important. To find the second order moment is nothing but E of x squared or x squared bar. What is it? Mean squared value. So here also this same argument holds good. So this is simply given by summation I is equal to 1 to n xi squared into p of xi. I am using the notation, definition, that's all. Now substitute, expand the summation. I get x1 squared p of x1 plus x2 squared p of x2 plus x3 squared p of x3 plus etc. till xk squared into p of xk. Now put the values of x1, x2, etc. till xk. So x1 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to a. So x1 squared is 0 squared 0. x2 squared is a squared. x3 squared is 2a the whole square. Then x2 squared is equal to k minus 1 into a the whole square. Probabilities of them are, all of them are 1 by k, 1 by k, 1 by k, so on and so forth. So I get 0 into 1 by k plus a squared 1 by k, 1 by k plus 2a squared 1 by k plus etc. till k minus 1a the whole square into 1 by k. Now take a squared by k common. So I get a squared by k into 1 plus 2 squared plus 3 squared plus etc. up till k minus 1 the whole square. Now remember this is also the arithmetic progression series. But only thing is that I have got 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared plus k minus 1 the whole square. Now recall another formula that we would have used in mathematical induction concept, PUC mathematics or 10th standard mathematics. I have summation n is equal to 1 to n squared is equal to n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. The sum of the squares of first n numbers. What is this? This is the sum of the squares of n numbers. So I have summation n is equal to 1 to n squared is equal to capital N into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. So summation n is equal to 1 to capital N squared is equal to capital N into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. Now this expected value, now n is equal to k minus 1 here. N is equal to k minus 1. Let me write it here. So since n is equal to k minus 1, since n is equal to k minus 1, I get a squared by k into n. N is equal, substitute n is equal to k minus 1. So a squared by k into k minus 1 into n plus 1. So k minus 1 plus 1 into 2n plus 1. So substitute n is equal to k minus 1. So 2 into k minus 1 plus 1. So here my k minus 1 plus 1, minus 1 plus 1 gets cancelled. So I am left with k. Here 2k minus 2 plus 1 I get. So I get 2k minus 2 plus 1. So which gives me 2k minus 1. So finally I am left with a squared into k minus 1 into 2k minus 1 by 6. Algebraic simplification, I hope you would be able to do it. Now standard deviation. First find variance. So sigma x squared is given by e of x squared minus mean squared. Mx or mx squared are e of x squared minus mu x squared or e of x squared minus mx squared. Both are used. So substituting, I get sigma x squared is equal to e of x squared we have already derived now. So that is given by a squared into k minus 1 into 2k minus 1 by 6 minus mean. Mean we have calculated earlier. So that is equal to a into k minus 1 by 2 the whole square. So take LCM, simplify. So I get a squared into k squared minus 1 by 12. A squared into k squared minus 1 by 12. Now, standard deviation is given by the positive square root of variance. So sigma x is given by root of a squared into k squared minus 1 by 12. Or I can further write this as a by 2 root 3 into root of k squared minus 1, because root of square root of 12 can be written as square root of 4 into 3. That is equal to 2 root 3. Or you can leave the answer here itself as it is itself. If you want to further simplify, I can write that as a into 2a into 2, that is 2a. I can write this as a into root of k squared minus 1 by 2 root 3. Let me write that final answer. So I have root of 12 is equal to 2 root 3. So this can be written as a into root of k squared minus 1 by 2 root 3. Okay, so this is the final simplified answer, because root 12 can be written as 2 root 3. Square root of a squared, square root of a squared is a, so that I can pull it outside the square root sign. So I get a into root of k squared minus 1 by 2 root 3. So this is the final answer. Okay, other problems we shall continue in the next video. Thank you.